Mystery and History of Babylon by Frank S. Weston. And please excuse the print, so scanned from a pretty old book. From Babylon issued 3 streams. These continued fundamentally alike, though quite separate, as each had its own high priest. The divisions were centered in Pergamos, Memphis, and Tibet. From books on Tibet, we learn that the system continued to this day. Let us trace the 2 western streams. In 487 BC, the city of Babylon was taken by Xerxes, and the inhabitants were slaughtered. The Babylonian priesthood, being forced to leave Babylon, removed to Pergamos, which became for some time their headquarters. So in 487 BC, at the fall of Babylon to the Persians, the Babylonian priesthood would relocate to Pergamos. So let's hop over to Revelations and see what the Spirit have to say to Pergamos. Revelation chapter 2, verses 12 and 13. And to the angel of the church in Pergamos write, These things said he, which hath the sharp sword with 2 edges. I know your works and where you dwell, even where Satan's seat is, and you hold fast my name, and have not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, where Satan dwelled. So Pergamos, where the Babylonian priesthood was relocated to, is called the place where Satan dwelled and the place of Satan's seat. The church of Pergamos is also reproved for having the doctrine of the Baalim and the doctrine of the Nicolaitans, which could be a result of Babylonian influence. But Satan's seat in Pergamos was definitely through the Babylonian priesthood. Pergamos was the headquarters of this apostasy in John's day. When Attalus, the pontiff and king of Pergamos, died in 133 BC, he moved the headship of the Babylonian priesthood to Rome. And when the Etruscans came to Italy from Lydia, the region of Pergamos, they brought with them the Babylonian religion and rites. They set up a pontiff who was head of the priesthood and had the power of life and death over them. Later, the Romans accepted this pontiff as their civil leader. Julius Caesar was made pontiff of the Etruscan order in 74 BC. In 63 BC, he was made supreme pontiff of the Babylonian order, thus becoming heir to the rights and titles of Attalus, pontiff of Pergamos, who had made Rome his heir by will. Thus, the first Roman emperor was the head of the Babylonian priesthood, and so Rome became the successor of Babylon. Henceforth, Rome's religion was that of Babylon. In the year 218 AD, the Roman army quartered in Syria, having rebelled against Macrinus, elected Elagabalus to be emperor. This man was high priest of the Egyptian branch of Babylonianism. So now in the year 133 BC, the Babylonian priesthood found its way into Rome, and by 63 BC, Julius Caesar was made pontiff of the Babylonian order, making him the emperor of Rome and head of the Babylonian priesthood. The rituals, ceremonies, and rites of Babylon has now become Roman. And on May 16th in the year 218 AD, a man by the name of Elagabalus, who was high priest of the Egyptian branch of Babylonianism, was elected emperor of Rome, unifying the 2 western branches of Babylonianism, the one at Pergamos and the one in Egypt, into one order in Rome. The emperors of Rome continued to exercise this office of supreme pontiff till the year 376 AD, when the emperor Gratian refused to attire himself in the high priest's robe. Milner, in his history of the church, thus speaks of Gratian. From his earliest years, there appeared unquestionable marks of real godliness in Gratian, to a degree beyond anything that has yet been seen in any Roman emperor. One of his first actions demonstrate this. But what I want to do here is focus on the dates. The Roman emperors held the title of supreme pontiff over the Babylonian priesthood until 376 AD, which means Constantine, the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity, would also have held this title, and the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD and the Nicene Creed, which is the foundation of the Christian faith, was more than likely influenced by this Babylonian order. The title of high priest always belonged to the Roman princes. He justly observed that as its whole nature was idolatrous, it became not a Christian to assume it. He therefore refused the habit, though the pagans gave him the title. This was 376 AD. Religious matters soon became so disorganized that it was found absolutely necessary to elect someone to fill the office. The issue was that Damasus, the bishop of the Christian Church of Rome, was elected to this position. This Damasus had been made bishop of the church in 366 AD through the influence of the monks of Mount Carmel, a college of Babylonian worship originally founded by the priest of Jezebel long before Christ and continued today in connection with Rome. So in 378, the head of the Babylonian order became the ruler of the Christian church. This man, Damasus, united in himself the office of the Christian bishop and all the titles and powers of the high priesthood of the old Babylonian apostasy. Satan united Babylon and Rome in one religious system. Pope Damasus, known as Damasus of Rome, was the bishop of Rome from October 366 to his death. He presided over the Council of Rome of 382 that determined the canon or official list of sacred scriptures. He spoke out against major heresies including Apollinarianism and Macedonianism, thus solidifying the faith of the Catholic Church and encouraged production of the Vulgate Bible with his support for Jerome. He helped reconcile the relations between the Church of Rome and the Church of Antioch and encouraged the veneration of martyrs. And so now we have Damasus, bishop of the Christian Church of Rome and supreme pontiff of the Babylonian priesthood, presiding over the Council of Rome in 382 AD, which determined what books were sacred and which books made it into our Bible. He also commissioned a guy by the name of Jerome to create a Latinized version of the scriptures, and the Latin Vulgate was born. All of these things was done at the hand of a Babylonian high priest. This explains Revelation 17, Mystery Babylon. All the teachings of old Babylon went to Rome, the emperors for 400 years, from 63 BC to 376 AD were Babylonian high priests. Then in 378, the head of the Church of Christ in Rome took the place of supreme pontiff. Thus, Romanism incarnates Babylon. Her worship is idolatrous. Her ceremonies and observances are Babylonish. Her doctrines are not from God. And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto you the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of the abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore doest you marvel? I will teach you the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carry her, which have the 7 heads and the 10 horns. Now the identity of the whore can be debated, but the beast who's carrying her around the earth is Rome. And the writing on her forehead, Mystery Babylon, the mother of all harlots, is the ancient Babylonian mystery system, the corrupt teachings, rituals, and ceremonies of the old Babylon that manifested throughout the ancient world under many names but introduced to us as Christianity. And the mark on her forehead is the same mark that Rome, the beast, caused all great and small to receive in their right hand, meaning their actions and their will, and in their forehead, meaning their mentality, their mindset, and the seat of their soul. Revelations 12:9 says that Satan deceived the whole world, but the question is how? We read earlier how the seat of Satan and the seat of the Babylonian priesthood was both in Pergamos. The Babylonian priesthood were the ministers of Satan, who transformed themselves into the ministers of light and used this mystery system to rule the world.